What is going on, people of YouTube? My name is Kurtyoy and welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new grand spanking, ever so long compared to my other video series, Kurtyoy's FPLT. That stands for Kurtyoy's Fantasy Premier League Tips. It's a brand new series that basically culminates everything into one and more. You're seeing all of your favourite series from last season, including some new ones this season, in one big episode, as well as spread across the week as well. There will be particular segments that are posted upon the channel on a daily basis from this big episode. There'll be parts that won't. So to get all the information, stats and everything from me, this is the place to be. Basically, this show was brought to my attention really by myself, surprisingly. I do all the stuff behind the scenes of my channel, which is, strange to think, although some people may not be. But it came to my attention, and it came as an idea simply because I wanted a big, grand spanking thing. I feel like we as FPL creators need to step up our game. I, for one, have levelled in mediocrity the last couple of years. Occasionally updating my graphics, my logos, channel art, the lot. This season, I've gone for a whole new approach. My graphics have timesed up 5-6 times better than the last lot. As well as that, we've got a new series. You've got Dilemma Centre Live. I'm stepping that up. Brand new graphics, getting you guys involved. And this is what this series is about. It's about getting you guys involved and bringing you something that you guys deserve, because you've supported me and others throughout so long. I've been doing this, I think it's my 4th season doing FPL content now. I started really poorly and now we're here, and hopefully this series I can give to you is something that you all can appreciate, and it's something you all deserve, I think. But that is right though, it's something that you guys can get involved in, and I'll be talking about all sorts of things: reviews, previews, captains, differentials, my league, my own team, before we posted anywhere else on my channel, as well as a chance for you guys to get involved every single week, keep up to date with all the channel and all that sorts of business. But if you do want to keep up to date with any other of the content I produce, do not Dilemma Centre Live, any of the separate videos from this big massive episode of Kurtyoy's FPLT, or including this video itself every week it comes out, then let me know if you want to. I'll leave it as that. Or, alternatively, you can subscribe, like and comment so I know what you guys like and don't like and all that sort of business. But usually, we'd go into last week's results, but there are none. So let's look back at some of the best pre-season form we've seen, some of the better players from pre-season, going from goalkeepers all the way through to strikers. We've only got one goalkeeper, £4 million man, Rob Elliott. Rob Elliott comes in at £4 million. He's a goalkeeper from Newcastle, and he started more times than people thought in pre-season, so could take the first goalkeeper spot on game week 1 for Newcastle. Could be big considering he's £4 million, and this could be the cheap goalkeeper, I like Jordan Pickford, that we need this year. Moving on to the defenders, Ben Mee is one at 4.5 that we really need to take a look at, and in pre-season he's looked pretty good as well. Scored in the abandoned game too, and could be a really good pick for your sides. Another £4.5 million defender for us to take a look at is Mr. Higazi from West Brom. It looks set to start the season whilst West Brom sort out their defence, and at 4.5 in the West Brom defence, a Tony Pulis side could be looking really good. The last tip for pre-season defenders has got to be Southampton defenders. I mean, Southampton in general, 3 clean sheets in 5 pre-season games, with coverage being vital for their team. Maybe Cedric, maybe Bertrand, maybe Stephens, maybe Yoshida, maybe even Van Dijk when he comes back into the team. But nevertheless, I think Saints coverage is vital. Moving on to midfield, we have Tom Ince of Huddersfield. £6 million gets you 4 goals this pre-season, which shows he is full of confidence. He could be the big difference for Huddersfield this season. One of the brightest wingers a few years ago. Finally, could he be willing to act on all that potential? Another winger that had a good showing in pre-season is Reggie Van La Parra. £5 million for Huddersfield. A lot of people are calling him, the person to sit on the bench, but this pre-season, 5 assists and 1 goal sees him slide up as a potential gem at £5 million. Could he even still get a starting role for game week 1? At £4.5 million we have Tom Carroll of Swansea. He's looked really good in pre-season, especially in a 4-0 win where he got 3 of the assists for those 4 goals. Will he be a steal this season? Surely he has to be. With Sigurdsson there or not, I feel like this season he's due to have a massive goal scoring season. Coming in at 7 million from Crystal Palace is Wilfried Zaha. He's been breaking ankles for fun this pre-season, has looked really sharp and have bags full of confidence, and he could really be the £7 million midfielder to make a mark this season. Coming in just £1 million more than Zaha is Henrik Mkhitaryan. The Man United midfielder started 5 of the 7 games this pre-season and played at least 45 minutes in all of them. 3 goals and 3 assists in total shows great figures and potentially a fantastic start for him too. Our penultimate midfielder is Aaron Ramsey at £7 million. The Arsenal man looks good at getting attacking returns in a 3-4-2-1 system and could be one to look out for. He started alright this pre-season but didn't play in the Community Shield, which may be a hint but may also just be resting him for the season ahead. And lastly in the midfield we have Kevin De Bruyne of Manchester City. £10 million gets you Kevin De Bruyne, who got 21 assists last season. He currently has 4 assists this pre-season and has obvious class showing all through the games, which makes Kev a must-have this season in my eyes. Going into the attackers, we start off with Bobby Firmino at £8.5 million. Klopp's man at Liverpool has 3 goals and 4 assists this pre-season, and the main striker for Klopp's side is a major favourite to start this season up top. And considering he got 11 goals, 11 assists last time, also scored a penalty this pre-season, maybe a sign for things to come. Also at 8.5 we have Michy Batshuayi of Chelsea, has looked really good in pre-season, and with Conte saying Morata might not be ready for the season ahead, Michy Batshuayi could be one to look out for. Up next is the big man, Romelu Lukaku at £11.5 million. The Manchester United striker, well, to describe him, Lukaku is Lukaku. Decent supply of goals in every game from him, looks ready to set another 20 goal plus season, and I think he could be doing that with ease. And lastly, we've got Stevie Mooney, the £6 million Huddersfield man. He's got 4 goals for Huddersfield this pre-season, and it may be a risk to have the new boy. This is his first ever season in English football, but that risk could well pay off as he's shown a good showing of himself in pre-season. And so there we have the pre-season basically looked over and done. Those are the best players that I could find this pre-season. Obviously one big shout is Willian, but he didn't impress me too much in the Community Shield, so that has raised doubts for me. But let me know, was there anyone else that performed well in this pre-season? Let me know all that in the comment section down below. Let's kick on with other things we need to get on with. But now let's take a look at the next week of fixture. I say next week, it's the first game week. Everything's going to be the first on this show. But the first set of fixtures, we've got Arsenal versus Leicester, Watford versus Liverpool, Chelsea versus Burnley, Crystal Palace versus Huddersfield. So I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking down the fixtures. Everton versus Stoke, Southampton versus Swansea, West Brom versus Bournemouth, Brighton versus Man City, Newcastle versus Tottenham, and Manchester United versus West Ham. I'm going to start off by talking about Arsenal versus Leicester. Very interesting tie to kick off the Premier League. You've got the FA Cup champions, now the Community Shield champions, versus the previous Premier League champions before Chelsea obviously won the league. Now it's interesting because Chelsea's kicking off at 3 o'clock, and I thought they'd get a chance to open out the season. Obviously playing Burnley, they won't. The second thing is FPL wise could be really interesting. Riyad Mahrez is yet to leave, as so too is Alexis Sanchez. Now Riyad Mahrez could have joined Arsenal earlier on the season, or the season before, even Tottenham maybe, but he's still at the club. Will either of them play is a big thing to consider. I'm not too sure. And for score wise, I'm going with 2-1 to Arsenal. But Arsenal might just have a little bit too much. I think of different showing, different players, including Ramsey and Kolasinac in pre-season, have given themselves a good account, and I feel like Arsenal should be enough, to beat Leicester this coming game week. Then we go on to the 3 o'clocks, I believe, hopefully, or an early kickoff, I should say. Watford versus Liverpool. I think Liverpool win that 3-1. But Liverpool's defence, they're without Nathaniel Klein, potentially playing with Moreno or Robertson, predominantly attacking fullbacks. And I feel like without Son centre-back, could still be weak at the back this season. Watford should score. I feel like the attacking prowess they have in Deeney, I feel like he could really piss a hole into Liverpool. But they should be enough. Liverpool, they've got so much attacking talent. Mane, Coutinho, Firmino, Salah. You're looking at maybe even midfielders coming into play. Maybe Milner in midfield, Henson in midfield. You're looking at Gini Wijnaldum as well. They've got so much attacking talent, and for me, I feel like Liverpool winning 3-1 is a fair result. Moving on to the 3 o'clocks, we have Chelsea versus Burnley. 3-0 for Chelsea for me. We have Chelsea, yes, they haven't made the improvements, and their squad is quite thin, so they could have made more improvements and maybe beef their squad out a bit, considering the amount of players they've left. But should be easy enough task against a quite poor Burnley side of Michael Keane, and even away from home now, even harder for them to get any points. So 3-0 should be an easy result for Chelsea. Palace Huddersfield, we got to be 1-1. I feel like Huddersfield are a tougher team than people are making out. I still think they'll probably go down, but Huddersfield, I feel like 1-0, good showing of themselves. I think they're really going to make things hard for Palace. Palace team that, to be honest, haven't done too good but too little. Zaha is key in that fixture. Everton versus Stoke. Everton have a really hard first 5 game weeks. This is the only let-off they have, and they've got to make it count. That's why I think Everton will win 2-0. I feel like Everton really need this. And we're all saying Everton will lose the next 4 game weeks. But you've got to consider, if they've made the signings they have, spent the money they have, if they want to be considered a big team, they have to make a good account of themselves in those game weeks. So maybe we'll write off Everton a bit too early, but this one, easy enough for Everton players. 2-0 for me. Then we've got Southampton versus Swansea, another 2-0. Swansea still with, again, another one that should have been sold, maybe hasn't been sold for whatever reason, but Sigurdsson remains at the club, and that could be a big factor this season if he stays. But 2-0 for Southampton. They looked good in pre-season. Like I say, 3 clean sheets out of 5, and Southampton should make easy work of an improving Swansea side that I don't think will go down this season. And then we've got West Brom versus Bournemouth. I think it's going to be quite a tight game, but 1-0 for West Brom to me. They looked good. Yes, their defence is looking a bit weak at the moment, but I feel like it's a West Brom side. You always expect them to be good in the defence. And a 1-0 win, quite a boring game, but a tight game. I can see that being one to forget, at least at the 3 o'clocks. Then we have Brighton versus Man City, which is where I think the first big scoreline could happen this season. I'm predicting, wait for it, a 5-0 victory for Manchester City against Brighton. I do think Brighton made some good signings. If they be proper signings, that's a really good signing. I feel like they've done alright in pre-season. But this is Man City, a Man City team that has signed so much attacking talent over the last few years. They could literally sell 5 or 6 of them and still have a really good first team. Even a first team that's worthy of winning a Premier League title. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. But I feel like Man City could blow them away. And if one player isn't working, they'll have a bench full of talent ready to bring on. So 5-0. Harsh scoreline for Brighton, but it could well happen. On TV as well, not what you want for your first Premier League game in some time. Newcastle versus Tottenham is next on the Sunday fixtures. It'll be tight. I feel like Newcastle make a good account of themselves. Maybe even a Matt Ritchie long shot going in is what I'm seeing, but 2-1 for Tottenham for me. I'm not sure score. I don't think it'll be Kane. Fingers crossed he's not in my team. But I do think Tottenham will win. Maybe make it a bit hard for themselves, but they'll get 3 points on the board to start the season. And then Manchester United versus West Ham is the final game of this game week, 4 o'clock on the Sunday. What do you think will happen? Well, West Ham have improved. Yes, Chicharito is a very good signing up front. Arnautovic, when he's playing good and his head is in the right place, he's a good player. But defensively, they lack. Joe Hart, yes, he's an improvement, but we are yet to see if he's improved from his Iceland shenanigans or even his poor season in Italy. They've signed Zabaleta, which will improve the defence. He's a talker, he's a Premier League winner, so he'll know what to do. But has it come too late in his career? And I do feel like they need another centre-back, but they haven't got it. Manchester United, I think, will win that 3-0 with the signings they've made. Pogba allowed to go further up with Matic joining. Mkhitaryan in good form. Rashford in good form. Martial in good form. Lukaku in good form. I feel like it could all just be too much for West Ham at Old Trafford on Sunday. But we've gone through next week's fixtures. What about the players? I mean, it's all well and good talking about the teams, but I need to tell you about the players. Well, we're doing things a bit different this season. We're going through everything to do with the fixtures, then the players, and I'm picking a few out that I really fancy that I think you guys should definitely get on. I think I fancy them more than other players, let's put it that way. We are going to kick things off though with the goalkeepers. We've got 4 of them, as always, and it will be hopefully like that throughout the rest of the season. Foster, Edison, Forster and Elliott. Foster comes in from West Brom 4.5. Really good looking goalkeeper. If you're looking to early wildcard, very good pick. And for me, that's all I've got to say about him. Edison comes in at 5.5, really low ownership. City, though, having quite a good looking start to the season. You're thinking, got a good few wins last season under Pep Guardiola, looking to do that again this season, and I feel like they could do, and a few clean sheets in there as well, to put it that way. Force then comes in at £5 million. Southampton, again, a really good start, looks good. Again, the clean sheets in pre-season are one for me to say, you know what, that may be worth looking at for the defence-wise. And then Rob Elliott, £4 million, got a chance of starting game week 1, so he's also in there as well. Onto the defence though, we have 6 defenders. We're looking at Ryan Bertrand of Southampton, Danilo of Man City, you've got Lascelles of Newcastle, Azpilicueta of Chelsea, Ben Davies of Tottenham, and Matteo Darmian of Manchester United coming in first with Mr. Ryan Bertrand, £5.5 million for the Southampton defender. Yes, you could go with Stevens or Yoshida or Cedric for £5 million, but the extra 0.5 gets you more attacking returns and a better player overall, I believe, in the Southampton defence. Now, he could really be one to watch this season at £5.5 million. If they do start the season well, get him in your teams from the start, or at least Saints coverage from the start, their price will rise. Then when the tough fixtures come in, you can get rid of them. Watch their price go back down. Do it again for the second part of the season and just reap the rewards for both times this season. He looks really good and should be in, at least coverage for game week 1 from the start. You're looking at Danilo as well with the left back injured that they signed, Mendy. He could be looking to fill in there in one of the wing back slots. And as a risk, yes, he might not play. I feel like he could play for the first few game weeks at least. £5.5 million gets you into the City defence with a chance of attacking potential as well. It's really not worth missing that opportunity. And you've also got Jamel Lascelles at £4.5 million. Newcastle coverage, barring game week 1. Yes, I'm saying getting there for game week 1 could get some bonus points if it's just a ball draw. Let's say they do really well in the defence. He could be one to chuck himself in front of it. He's a leader overall, so could be getting that potential for extra points there. But in general, after that, looks really good. Definitely worth putting into teams. You also got Azpilicueta of Chelsea. £6.5 million gets you a centre back. They've got really good attacking returns last season. I think a goal and 5 assists is what he got last season. And Moses is suspended for the first game week of the season, which means Azpilicueta, undoubtedly, hopefully, we pushed out wide into right back. And where he's a natural position actually, when he signed for Chelsea, he was a right back, moved to left back, and now centre back. I don't think he's even played many games in right back since he's got to Chelsea. But could be a really good pick. £6.5 million is steep, but he's a really good player. Also got Davies at 5.5. Trippier looks to be injured, so all coverage now over to Ben Davies at 5.5, and Darmian at 5.5 as well. Man United don't really have a left back with Yoho and Luke Shaw injured. Darmian looks as if he's going to be filling that slot, and £5.5 million could be a really good bet for that left back position. In the midfield, we start off with the big money Kevin De Bruyne of Manchester City. We've got Zaha of Palace, Mkhitaryan of Man United, Eriksen of Tottenham, Pedro of Chelsea, and Tadic of Southampton. Starting off Kevin De Bruyne of Man City though, £10 million. And yes, that's a big fee for a player. He gets you 6 goals and 21 assists from last season, 199 points, only set to improve this season, and with even more attackers brought into the team, a fit Gabriel Jesus and Aguero to feed off of. You've also got Bernardo Silva there as well. So many options. He's one of the only set-in-stone players to start along with Jesus for me in the attacking line. So Kevin De Bruyne could be a really good pick for the season, especially in game week 1, that 5-0 coming up against Brighton. We've also got Zaha at £7 million. The Crystal Palace man, like I said in the pre-season bit, has been breaking legs for fun, and he could really be continuing that this season. Mkhitaryan comes in at £8 million. Another one that's had a good pre-season and could really start well against Manchester United, against West Ham. Got there in the end. Eriksen of Tottenham, looking like he's my favourable option against Ali. I've actually selected him in my team over Ali now, and I feel like at 9.5 could be really good for the first game of the season. Pedro comes in £8 million. Many people may be thinking, after his red card in the Community Shield, he is suspended. He is not. It's a standalone thing, so he's not suspended for the Premier League season. So he is still starting. Many people might be transferring out thinking, oh no, suspended now. Many people not knowing the rules. So hopefully that happens, and fingers crossed he has a good return in game week 1 against Burnley, and you all can be laughing when he's a differential. And lastly, Dusan Tadic, £6.5 million. Saints look really good. Going forward, he could be the one to really pivot the attack around, and Tadic, I feel like could be good money this season. And lastly, we have the attackers. We've got Gabriel Jesus of Man City, Lukaku of Man United, Batshuayi of Chelsea, Benteke of Palace, and Firmino of Liverpool. Starting off with Jesus of Manchester City, £10.5 million, 7 goals and 4 assists last season in 10 games. Do the maths. 30 games gets you 21 goals, 12 assists. Now I'm doing the maths here, and I'm seeing goals and assists together, at least 1 per game. That continues this season, he is going to fly across any goal scoring boundaries. I think double game weeks where he's playing. Need I say more? Lukaku comes in from Manchester United at £11.5 million. He's had a decent showing in pre-season, and the beast could be set to run through a rather old-looking defence, only helped in their oldness by Zabaleta at Old Trafford on Sunday. Batshuayi of Chelsea, Morata isn't ready, according to Conte, which means Batshuayi could start the first game week against a Burnley side away from home that weren't good last season. Could be set, pardon me, to get a couple of goals at the start of this game week. You also got Benteke of Crystal Palace at £8 million. He is a beast, an absolute beast, and he could be set to wreak havoc across Huddersfield back line. I think he's going to get the goal for Palace, at least 1 in this game week coming up. And Bobby Firmino, 8.5. He's a front man. Klopp likes him. I think Liverpool fans like him. 11 goals and 11 assists last season. Could be really good. Potentially on pens as well if Milner isn't playing, so worth looking out for. And in general, 3 goals and 4 assists in pre-season leaves him looking at game week 1 and thinking, oh, I'll have this for my little treat. Maybe a goal or assist, or even more than that in this game week, and Liverpool could be set to have a flyer FPL-wise. But let's look more in depth in some of those players, shall we? Starting off with Ryan Bertrand of Southampton. Now, he is probably my pick of the Southampton defenders, simply because, yes, he's a 0.5 above, but his attacking returns last season were phenomenal. And he was ever present last season, where Cedric sort of disappeared. We don't know what happened with him. He was there. Van Dijk obviously was there for around most of it. Fon left halfway through the season. Stevens made a good account of himself, 5 million potentially. He's just there because he's in the Southampton defensive line. Know he's going to start. Signed a new contract as well, so you know he's going nowhere this season. Also, Maya Yoshida came out as been rotation for so many years, and now first team starter with Van Dijk not in the team. Looks good anyway. But Bertrand, at 5.5, is selected by just 12.4% of people. Which could be really good showing. And last season, he got 123 points for a tally. His next 5 games, looking at game week 1 to 5, Swansea, West Ham, Huddersfield, Watford and Crystal Palace. Now those are really appetising. And that is why I say to anyone, you've got to have at least 2 players in Southampton, at least for these start. Because up to game week 11, they face one big team. Just one. You look at the amount of 2s they have in their fixed difficulty racing on FPL. It is phenomenal. It is such a good sight to see. But looking at it, Bertrand could be a really good bet, and I think he should be in your team. He's nearly in mine. If I had enough money, extra 0.5, he would be in my team. Apart from that, I've got Cedric, but if I had the money, he'd definitely be in my team. On the defence as well, we've got Cesar Azpilicueta. Now, the Chelsea man is, you know, it's very difficult to pick a Chelsea defender at the moment. A lot of people, and I think the most selected defender at the moment is David Luiz, because he's a £6 million man. He was in the Chelsea defence for a lot of last season, and for me, he could be an ever-present again this season. And he's a cheaper way into defence without the taking returns though. Cahill, good from corners and set plays as well. Azpilicueta, good at going forward from the centre-back role into midfield maybe. You know, getting those 1 goal and 5 assists from last season. You also got Alonso, 7 million, massive price, but massive potential returns as well. But Azpilicueta jumps out for me. £6.5 million. He's going to play on the wings, the right wing back, the first game week. And to be honest, with Rudiger signing, I could potentially see Rudiger replacing Azpilicueta's spot. Azpilicueta going out wide, because Moses is good going forward. We saw that in the Community Shield. Going back, I feel like he's still got a lot to work on. So Azpilicueta, maybe even swap positions, it could be really good for FPL. Scored 170 points last season from centre back. Now, if he goes out wide, how many points is he going to score there? The first 5, they are quite difficult to be bearing that in mind. Burnley, Tottenham, Everton, Leicester and Arsenal are in his top 5, his first 5 game weeks of the season. So he could be really, really difficult to pinpoint and also get a good start. But trust me, I think in those games he could do really well. Goals or assists in any of the games, including a few clean sheets here or there. He's a really good pick for this season. Moving on to midfield, we then have Kevin De Bruyne. The Manchester City midfielder should be never present this season. Realistically should be. But with a £10 million price tag, if he's not, raises big concerns. But I think he will be. He can play anywhere, wide, centrally, even further forward. And to be honest, I think Pep really likes him. 24.8% of people have selected him, which is quite high. But you know he's going to score points. And 199 points last season can only be set to improve on that. Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, Liverpool and Watford are his first 5 game weeks, looking really good. All but Liverpool, and I think Liverpool and Everton are at home, Brighton, Bournemouth and Watford are away, so could be 5 wins out of 5 going into game week 6. And De Bruyne, if they're going to get any goals, you most likely bank on him to get a goal or assist in any of those games. So for me, De Bruyne, £10 million is well worth the price. And then we have Henrik Mkhitaryan and Manchester United. Now, unsure how many United are going to line up midfield-wise. Might get a little bit of a glimpse to see who won't play, depending on who starts and plays 90 minutes in the UEFA Super Cup coming up. But he's at £8 million, so it's by just 6.1% of people. Considering the 3 goals and 3 assists he's got this pre-season, it's quite strange that. But you also got to take into effect he scored 73 points last season. It's not too good for £8 million price tag. But his first 5 game weeks, looking at it and thinking that could save him. West Ham at home, Swansea away, Leicester at home, Stoke away, Everton at home. 5 games where he predicts Man United to do really well. But then obviously he might not start. You're looking at Rashford still going well. You're looking at Martial going well. Mata, for the time he was fit, going well. There's 4 wide players there that immediately give him a bit of a threat for his starting spot. But he started well. He's been the best player wide, and so should be given the time, even if he doesn't get the points returns in the first couple of game weeks. But for me though, he's set to have a good start to the season, and I think you should take a risk on him. Lastly, we have Gabriel Jesus of Manchester City in the attack. The £10.5 million man, for me, is one of my favourites, if not my favourite premium striker. I did a video on premium strikers. He's my favourite. I say it now, he's my favourite premium striker. Selected by 12.8% of people. Last season got 67 points, which again isn't very good, but he played 10 games, 7 goals and 4 assists. That's incredible. His first 5 game weeks will be set into De Bruyne, Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, Liverpool and Watford. For me, he is going to be one of the ones to set the season alight in the first few game weeks. And for me, he could be getting on that golden boot as well. You've got to watch out for him. He can play out wide, he can play down the centre, and even then you've got to look at it, either where he plays, he's going to score goals. And he has scored goals previously in the Premier League, so here's a danger, and I'd watch out for him. Now at this point in every other episode, hopefully, or most other episodes during the season, we'd go to a bit of a different sort of segment, and something I haven't really done on my channel ever is an interview part, where basically I'd interview a guest. Now it can be in regards to FPL YouTuber, just a football YouTuber, a YouTuber in general, or even one of you guys if you want to be part of the channel. Let me know if you do actually, in the comment section down below, and I'll get in contact if I want you to, or even if, just give me a reason, just give me a good reason if you want to, and you think you should, and why you should be part of this. Now, this will require you to film yourself and then send it to me via email. I'll get talks about that in Game Week 2. I've got someone lined up for Game Week 2 already, and I think you will like him. It's very popular on this channel, hopefully he is, but I could tell you a bit more, but rather I get someone else to do it. And who not? Who better? Who is one person that we go to the news for? No, it's no one famous, unfortunately, but it is in fact Kurt in another shirt in a rather similar location. So tell me, what can you tell us about this upcoming feature? Well, thank you, Studio Kurt. Yes, what is new? What is the new segment? Well, here, I am Kurt in another shirt in a rather similar looking location, here to tell you all about it. Basically, it is an interview segment. We bring someone onto this onto this series, every single episode, hopefully. Fingers crossed we'll have someone. No, all returning people. Or just might have a week where we just take a break. Hopefully we can fill out most of the episodes, so hoping at least 25 plus, with interviews with different people surrounding the FPL community, either on YouTube or Twitter, even Facebook, something I haven't even tapped into at all. Maybe just general YouTubers in general. If you've got a YouTuber that you like, that you reckon would enjoy coming onto the show, it's effectively free promotion to talk about football for a couple of minutes. Easy enough to do, but all we ask them, well, where they come from, so a chance for them to promote their channel, all sorts of things to do with the FPL teams, as well as a few interesting questions that I think the world needs an answer to. But as well as that, that's not the only new thing. We've got one other new thing will be coming every single week, and that is to do this thing right here. This is the comment of the week board, where we pick out, well, I say we, me and the other Kurt in the studio, pick out a comment every single week and put it onto this board. It will get fuller. Currently is nothing because it's game week 1 and nothing has happened. But we have got one comment that I've been looking at all the comments, even the ones I haven't replied to. When I've been away, I've been looking at the comments, and one popped out. There's got to be a winner, and that one for me is from Keyboard Drunken Boxer, and he says about a week ago from now, Kurtyoy, are you going to do a team update before every game week so I can copy your team as I'm shit? Now, unfortunately, Keyboard Drunken Boxer, I am also shit, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. But thank you for your comment, and seeing as it made me laugh when I read it, you are the first this drops. You're the first person to make it onto the comment of the week board, so I encourage you guys to keep commenting. And what do you get for this? Well, apart from getting on the board, you'll be entered into a quick £25 giveaway at the end of the season. So yeah, nice little thing, nice little bonus. You can get on there more than once, so leave a good comment. And what identifies as a good comment? I hear you ask. Well, don't know how I heard you ask, because no one's even found out about this because I'm recording this prior to the video being released, so it makes no logical sense. But what constitutes a logical comment? Well, a really good tip. If you say one thing that's like this 0.2 selected player is going to do bits, does bits, that's also a good pick. Something funny, or just something informative that maybe people didn't know about, or just constant good advice to people, being nice to people, starting a conversation. Anything really can fall under it, as long as I like the comment. But yeah, that is about that for the new content. Back over to you in the studio. Yeah, well, thank you to Kurt in another shirt. In another similar location, let's continue with our regularly scheduled broadcast. Now, up next is a part that's only going to stay in this big video. If you want to keep up to date with all my teams, well, I say all my teams, all my changes to my teams, you need to keep up to date here. And this is due to probably change, so I wouldn't take much note of it this week. But this is the part where I talk about my FPL team, how it's going, the previous results of it, obviously last week's results, I should say, and also where it's looking at this season, potential transfers and all that. So obviously, there's not much I can tell you this week apart from what my team is. So, alas, here goes nothing. Foster and Elliott are my two goalkeepers. Foster starting off at home against Bournemouth. Obviously, you know, we've got one goalkeeper that plays, one goalkeeper that doesn't, and that's going to be Foster for the first few game weeks to our early wild cards. While other areas of the team are looking quite weak, but in the defence we've got Francis, Azpilicueta, Cedric and Davis all playing. Trippier was in there, but Davis now comes in as Trippier is currently injured, but hopefully he's fit so I can put it back in the team. Francis is there, sort of swap with Cedric, but of course for first game week I feel like both of them can have good returns, so I'm going to put both of them in. Azpilicueta at home Burnley should be an easy clean sheet, and Davis could get good few assists. You know, Newcastle away, could be looking to start his account early away at St James's Park. In midfield, I've got my three midfielders that I really do like: De Bruyne, Eriksen and Tadic, as well as Carroll and Kachunga on the bench. Dunk's my other defender, by the way, who's in there just because I don't know who else do I have, to be honest, really don't know. But De Bruyne, £10 million, really good. Eriksen, 9.5, really good as well. And Tadic, 6.5, could be the cheap alternative for those two. Really good at playmaking as well. All those prime midfielders, really good playmakers. Do love myself a good playmaker. Carroll could be good for a cheaper option. But for now, once I don't know much about him, he stays on my bench just because I want to keep hold of him, just in case his price rises. And last, Kachunga, I can't get myself to get rid of him. I feel he's going to have a good season. Could start off well. Huddersfield have got a good few fixtures starting off. You're looking at, you know, 5-2s in a row in the first few game weeks, so I feel like he could be getting a good few attacking returns. And up front, Jesus, Lukaku and Gabbiadini. Need I say more on them? Jesus looks really good, could play out wide maybe, yes, which I've you know, talked down upon before, but even then, you know, he's going to score well. Lukaku is a beast, will start off well against West Ham, hopefully. And then Gabbiadini was no, not in my team until a few minutes ago. Chicharito wasn't in there, but I thought West Ham have a bad start. Why go for someone with a bad start from wildcarding early, get Gabbiadini in? Because in Hernandez, if he doesn't start very well, his price will go down, get him in with 6.8 hopefully, and then he starts soaring up once they get the easier games in their line of sight. So that's my team currently. Let me know where you guys stand on it, what things I should change, but yeah, hopefully you won't go too hard on me. Now after that, we would usually go onto my league and see who had the best game week, who currently is at the top of the league. Hopefully me, but I doubt it. But obviously we've had no game weeks, so we can't do that. I'm going to tell you a bit about the league sponsor this week, which we will do every single week. But the league, obviously, as I told you before, and we will say again, thank Christ they are here. Classic football shirts, fantastic website, and they are sponsoring the league this season, as well as my prizes that away from the finishing first will be £150 split into 5 different prizes. They are going to be sponsoring the league, so the winner gets £50 store credit upon their website, and they've got a fantastic website. Any football shirt you want, any club you want, they've probably got it up there. There's a fantastic sponsorship they have with the oldest club, and yes, Sheffield FC. I do love myself a good bit of Sheffield. They've also got match worn shirts. They've got a clearance section. You don't even have to have too much money to spend it on shirts over there. Really, really good quality, good service in general. Fantastic company. So go head over there. I've got a link down in the description you guys can use to head over there. Get yourself some match worn shirts. Get yourself some shirts in general. And if you do buy anything, tweet me pictures of you wearing them, and hopefully I'll feature them in the video. But onto my league. Join it. Code is somewhere on the screen right now. It's a league. You can win money. You can win store credit. What else do you want? Let me know. Well, let me know if you want anything else in the comment section down below. But yeah, that's my league basically. And don't know what to say really. If you want some more, classic football shirts, hopefully I'll have some more myself. But currently, money's going into other things. Once I have spare money, I'll be able to do so. But unfortunately, been put aside for now. But yeah, my league hopefully we're running, and I'll hopefully be here throughout 38 game weeks, so I won't be able to slide away. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how you guys keep up to date with all the leagues, and yeah, that'll be that. Next up, we have some captaincy picks, and we're going to start off with my first captaincy pick, probably my favourite maybe. Kevin De Bruyne of Man City comes in at £10 million or £10, or however you want to call it. His price is 10.0. Basically, he's selected by 24% of people, 199 points last season, 6 goals, 21 assists, 33 bonus points, and 11 clean sheets. And he faces off against a really easy, potentially 5-0 winning side. So you've got to be picking him. For me, you've got to be picking him. He is someone that really could wipe the floor with Brighton, and he's definitely one to consider. Next up, we have Christian Eriksen of Tottenham, £9.5 million, selected by 14.2% of people. 218 points last season, including 8 goals and 20 assists, and he's cheaper than De Bruyne. So who knows? But Tottenham, of course, they face off against Newcastle. If they are struggling, he could be the one to unlock it with set plays on his side, with long shots on his side, with potential assists and crossing on his side. Eriksen could be the man to have. Pedro's next to £8 million, selected by 2.6% of people, and that could be set to drop, with people thinking he could be out for the first 3 games of the season with his red card at the Community Shield. But alas, he's not. He is playing, and he faced off against Burnley in the first game week. 162 points he got last season, 9 goals, 10 assists. Hazard is out. He could be the main man. He's playing on the left-hand side if Willian plays, so I think potentially you're looking at your captaincy pick right there if Pedro is in your team. Then we have Gabriel Jesus of Man City, £10.5 million. Gets you a fantastic young striker that's really on Pep's good books, so he could be one definitely for you guys to consider. 67 points last season, again, not too good, but after 10 games, again, times that by 3 on 30 games. He's still got 8 games left and he's scoring 21 goals and 12 assists. That's 33 goals or assists in 30 games if he carries on that form. Really, really good looking player. Definitely one I think you all should consider in your teams and your captains. But finally, I think my captain pick for this game week is got to be Big Ron, Romelu Lukaku, selected by just under half the people playing the game, which is an insane amount. £11.5 million he costs. 221 points last season, 25 goals, including 6 assists, 33 bonus points, and 13 clean sheets. It don't matter because he's an attacker, but really good player. And he could bulldoze his way into a couple of goals early on against West Ham, against an ageing defence, and I feel like he could really cause problems for West Ham. And I think if he's given the captain armband, I'm sure if he fails, you know for a fact that potentially half the other population of players are also failing. So there is that. So really, really safe bet, but also really good bet. I feel like he could come in with at least some attacking returns this game week. Moving on from that, we have some differentials. 5 differentials for you this game week. I'm going with the 6% mark this season because the FPL website decided that 6% was differential, so I thought a bit high, but hey, if it's good for one, it's good for others. No, you can't beat them, you're going to join them. So obviously, that's why it defines as differential now. We're going to start off though with Danilo of Man City, £5.5 million. Gets you Danilo, could be starting the season ahead of Mendy simply because Mendy's injury and lack of pre-season training. 3.3% of people have picked him. Of course, we can't have his last points total in the Premier League because he wasn't in the Premier League. But his next 5 games, Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, Liverpool and Watford. If he's playing in all those 5, any wildcarding, or playing until he stops playing any wildcarding, could be really good player. Even if he plays 2 or 3 and then stops, those point returns could be really, really high. Definitely worth gambling on. Next up, we have Tom Carroll of Swansea, £4.5 million. 4.6% of people select him. 52 points last season, so you're going to play half a season really. Not too bad. First 5 game weeks of Swansea, of Southampton, Man United, Palace, Newcastle and Tottenham. For me, 4.5 is a no risk, no risk, and there's, if he gets no reward, 4.5 anyway, what's the big deal? But you're selected by quite a high percent of people. If he does start playing well, you think that percentage will rise to 4.5, and his price will rise ever so dramatically, and he could be a real point scoring hero. Even if he does a Capoue, scores first few game weeks and stops, get him out. You've already got 0.5 extra to spend, maybe upgrading Cedric to Bertrand. Who knows? But that being said, Carroll is a really good player to have. Next up, we have some Southampton coverage in Dusan Tadic, whose value is 6.5, and surprisingly, really surprisingly for me, only got 3.8% of people selecting him. Now, he's a really good looking player, and his first 5 are Swansea, West Ham, Huddersfield, Watford and Crystal Palace, has 4 home games in his first 6. And he, for me, is a really good looking player. Could start the season really well, looked good in pre-season. The whole Southampton did. Could be really good going forward, and 3% of people could be set to increase that, so I'd get on him right now before the game week 1 starts, so you're going to be in there for the point returns when he gets them, because I'm pretty confident on him, pretty confident. Our penultimate differential this week goes to Michy Batshuayi, who looks set to start game week 1 after Antonio Conte said Morata wasn't ready. Yeah, after only training for a week, he says needs more time, so Michy Batshuayi could have at least 1 game week in the goals. With the goals, hopefully, if he starts well against Burnley. Who else does he play? Plays Tottenham, Everton, Leicester, Arsenal. Got out of that, really, to be honest, hopefully. But Batshuayi looks really good at 8.5 million. Only 1.9% of people have selected him, and I think for me, if he just plays the first game, really good point returns, then get him out, get someone else in, and you're looking really good. And our last differential for this week is Manolo Gabbiadini of Southampton. £7 million gets you the striker who looks set to start after their last pre-season game in which he started up front on his own, with Tadic's behind and wingers elsewhere. He looks good value for £7 million. Yes, he didn't have the best seasons last season after having such a phenomenal start, then doing nothing. He looks good. He's had a good pre-season, and I feel like he could be set to start the season well. With their good fixtures, surely he must do. Southampton, man, is selected by 4.7% of people, got 38 points last season, which again, for half a season, not too good, but again, he could only be set to improve on that, surely. His first 5 games should be said with Tadic of Swansea, West Ham, Huddersfield, Watford and Crystal Palace. He, for me, could be a real gem, and if he does start playing well, again, you'll see the hype on him, you'll see his price increase, and hopefully you guys can get on that before it starts. But that happens to be that for this video, and for the first episode of Kurtyoy's FPLT. Now, it's probably a bit of a mess, because I have still got a cough, so I have to jump cut everything. I can't just talk about things fluidly. But once that cough goes, hopefully next week, we'll be looking to start things off really well. By that being said, guys, what do you think? What do you think of it? And what do you think of the you guys getting involved? Obviously, I've told you comment of the week, which is really good. Kurt and Ashur did that very well. We also got different features that hopefully you guys will enjoy. New revamped previews and reviews. We've got Captaincies and Differentials returning, even though I said they probably wouldn't. We've got loads of other things across the channel, hopefully keeping you guys entertained for the whole week of FPL content. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all hopefully next week for another episode of Kurtyoy's FPLT. Peace.